You feel that weight in the air over Foxborough? There's one detail that seems minor at first, and it can tilt the entire direction of 2026. And here's the part that really stings. That night in Santa Clara didn't hurt just because we lost. It hurt because it showed something a lot of people didn't even want to admit was there. At the same time, a message out of the locker room didn't sound like comfort at all. It sounded like a warning to the rest of the league. Then you add what we learned about our quarterback, and yeah, that's going to split Patriots Nation right down the middle. You're not going to believe what we're sitting on today, so buckle up. Tap like, subscribe, and let's get into it. Are you ready to deal with what this actually means? What makes me lose it is we watched the whole thing unfold in slow motion, and it still landed like a surprise punch. Because it wasn't just losing the Super Bowl, it was the way we lost it. Drake Maye taking a beating, the offensive line looking like a revolving door, and a rookie who'd been carrying that future label getting exposed on the most unforgiving stage in sports. And the name that keeps circling back is Will Campbell. But before you smash the panic button and start yelling "bust" or "move him inside," breathe for a second. The story isn't simply that he struggled. It's that the numbers were historic, and not in a good way. And that forces a totally different offseason conversation. Next Gen Stats credited Campbell with 14 quarterback pressures allowed against Seattle. 14. That's the most put on any player in any single game all season, including the playoffs. That alone is rough. Then it turns into something even uglier. Across the entire postseason, he was tagged with 29 pressures allowed, the most ever recorded in a single playoff run since Next Gen Stats has been tracking it. Let that sit for a second. When the competition jumps and you're staring at elite playoff defenses, little issues don't stay little. They stack. They spread. Seattle played like they knew exactly what they could do. Byron Murphy straight up said they didn't think our line could hold up, and the plan was to keep Maye rattled all night. 6 sacks, pressure after pressure. The offense never got a clean breath. This is where the comment section is going to get loud, because there are two ways to see it. One lane says, this is a rookie getting thrown into the deep end on the biggest stage, and the answer is basic. Coach him, build around him, let him grow. The other lane says, New England has to at least consider something more drastic. Can Campbell still be the long-term left tackle? Yes. But what if he's actually built to be a high-level guard instead of a top-tier tackle? What if the smartest way to protect the investment is sliding him inside, where the help comes easier, the angles change, and the margin for error isn't so brutal? That question is messy because it touches ego, storyline, and that top 5 pick label. But championship teams don't protect storylines. They protect their quarterback. That's why the offseason priorities are suddenly crystal clear. Morgan Moses is 34. Garrett Bradbury is already on the wrong side of 30. Jared Wilson had his own rough snaps once the competition got real. And you can't just sit there and pretend one more year fixes this by itself. If Josh McDaniels is going to run this offense the way he wants to run it, he's going to need actual protection, a legit blocking tight end, and maybe even a fullback. Because the foundation of the Patriot way has always been straightforward. Win the trenches, control the game. In the Super Bowl, we lost the trenches, and the scoreboard was basically the receipt. And while everyone's spinning over that, Vrabel dropped a line that completely shifts the tone of what comes next. If the Super Bowl left a scar, the post-game message left a warning. This wasn't empty coach speak meant to soften the fall. It was direct, like the kind of sentence that stays in your head all offseason. Mike Vrabel walked into that room knowing everybody was crushed, and he still took the hard route. No sugarcoating, no fake comfort, no easy explanations. He made it clear this is the beginning, year 1. And that pain, it's supposed to be kept, not erased. He told them he appreciates coaching them, even in that moment. Then he hit the part nobody should skip. This playoff run only matters if the team understands exactly what it's going to take to improve. If they don't, it's just another Super Bowl loss. And that's a different kind of message. Some coaches treat defeat like generic motivation. Vrabel treats it like a filter. You either level up or you get left behind. When he was asked how valuable this run could be, he basically said, it's only valuable if they're willing to work even harder than they already did. In plain fan language, nobody gets a free pass in 2026 because they made it to the big game in 2025. The Patriots aren't just going to run it back and hope for a different ending. They're going to dig into what failed and rebuild it where it hurt the most. There's another truth inside that, and it's not the one people like hearing. Every NFL season is its own universe. There's no carryover. No, we deserve it next year. No automatic second shot. New England starts from zero with everyone else. New schedule, new game plans from opponents, new pressure. That's why having Vrabel matters. He's lived the highest highs and the gut punch lows. He knows talent without discomfort turns into complacency. And if you really listen to what he's saying, it wasn't only for the locker room. It was for the building. It was for the fan base. It was for the league. The Patriots got relevant again fast, after back-to-back 4-win seasons before Vrabel arrived, and that creates a trap. The "we're already ready" trap. Vrabel crushed that immediately. The message was basically, we're on the path, but we're not there yet. Keep that in your mind, because when you connect that mindset to what we learned about Maye, the whole loss starts to look different. This part is delicate because it's about protection, truth, and the future of the franchise. Maye revealed he got a pain-killing injection in his right throwing shoulder before that 29-13 loss. That's not a throwaway detail. That's the kind of thing that changes how you rewatch every miss, every decision, every moment where the timing looked just a hair off. He said they shot it up, so he didn't have much feeling and he felt good to go. He made it clear he wouldn't be out there if he didn't feel like he could be himself. But football isn't only about pain tolerance. It's mechanics, it's confidence, it's rhythm, and it's trying to operate under chaos. The injury started in the AFC Championship game on a scramble where he landed on the shoulder. He was limited one practice, missed another because of an illness, then felt better once they got to San Francisco. He practiced in full all 3 days before the Super Bowl and kept saying he felt great. Then the game began. Seattle decided Maye wasn't getting a clean pocket for a single snap, and reality arrived. He went 27 of 43 for 295 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 picks, and he lost a fumble on a strip sack. And still, almost 300 yards. That's the kind of output that tells you the ceiling is real. This is exactly where people are going to argue. Maye refused to use the shoulder as an excuse. He said he didn't make the plays. Period. But two things can be true at the same time. You can own the performance and still acknowledge that playing with a numbed-up throwing shoulder behind a line getting crushed against a defense flying downhill is a recipe for stuff to go sideways. Not because the talent isn't there, because the context is brutal. The hardest part might have been after the final whistle. Maye was emotional. He talked about how much it hurts. He talked about the journey, how much he loves that locker room, and how they left it all on the field. That's not a quarterback hiding. That's a leader feeling the weight of the job early. He knows a Super Bowl shot like that is rare and never guaranteed again. At 23, that kind of awareness is scary, in the best way. So yeah, the arrow still points up. Pro Bowler. Second team All-Pro. The Super Bowl didn't erase any of that. If anything, it highlighted what has to be protected. Not just Maye's body, his development. You can't normalize him playing at the edge of physical limits because he's tough. A franchise quarterback isn't a human shield. He's your investment. And if this loss taught anything, it's that the Patriots have to protect their biggest asset better than they did that night. And when you connect that to what the locker room looked like after the game, the weight of this defeat shifts again. Because the silence in that room said more than any press conference. Will Campbell shaking his head. Morgan Moses just standing there, spaced out. Nobody had instant answers. Because there are no instant answers when you get punched in the mouth in the trenches on the biggest stage. The play that summed it up was the one that killed any hope. The pressure design from Mike McDonald, Devin Witherspoon coming in hot, Uchenna Nwosu free, and Maye losing the ball on a strip sack that turned into a back-breaking defensive touchdown with under 5 minutes left. In seconds, it was over. And it showed how tiny details turn into disasters when the margin is razor thin. And look, this can't all get dumped on one guy. On that snap, Moses was stuck in the right matchup. Campbell was battling Jarran Reed. The problem was structural. Seattle created an extra rusher and exposed communication, protection calls, and execution. When it happens again and again, blame becomes collective. That's why the offensive line got hammered on social media, by the talking heads, by everybody. That's life for an O-lineman. People only notice you when something breaks. What stood out to me was what came next. Jared Wilson didn't hide. He talked about learning from it, taking the shot and moving forward. The same mindset Stephon Diggs brought when he talked about Maye afterward. Keep shooting, like Stephen Curry. That wasn't random. That's belief when everything is going wrong. Maye almost hit 300 yards, even though he had just 6 completions midway through the third quarter. He kept firing. He kept competing. And that mentality spread. Because as ugly as that night was, this team won 17 games together in a season nobody expected after those back-to-back 4-win years. That doesn't disappear because one Super Bowl went sideways. The locker room knew it. They got there together. They fell together. And they're going to carry that scar together. Ramondre Stevenson said it plainly. Nothing is promised. Not getting back to the Super Bowl, not even being a winning team. Everything has to be rebuilt from scratch. And that ties right back to Vrabel's point. Learn, or it means nothing. This loss doesn't define the Patriots. The response to it will. Because the Patriot way was never about avoiding pain. It was about using pain as a foundation. So now, with 2026 sitting right in front of us, the question isn't who failed. The question is, who's going to answer? And I want you in the comments on this. Do the Patriots need to go all in on fixing the offensive line, even if it means moving Campbell inside? Or is this strictly development and patience? No debate. Drop your take, hit like, and subscribe. Let's talk about it.